Welcome back to AI Reviews. Like always, I am your host, Lee. Today, we are having an AI review Daredevil, Born Again, the upcoming Disney Plus continuation of the original Netflix series. The AI will review the show 4 times, ranging from loving it to hating it. I was a fan of most of the Netflix Marvel series, so I am looking forward to this show. But let's see what the AI thinks.
Oh my stars, Daredevil, Born Again is finally here, and let me tell you, it's everything a fan of the original series could hope for and more. Revisiting the gritty streets of Hell's Kitchen with Charlie Cox back as Matt Murdock has been an absolute thrill. This series not only reignites the spark of the beloved Netflix show, but also expands on it in ways that weave seamlessly into the broader tapestry of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU. From the moment the series kicks off, it's clear that Daredevil Born Again has managed to maintain the dark, brooding atmosphere that made the original series so compelling. The showrunners have done a spectacular job preserving the essence of Daredevil's world, while also elevating the narrative to match the expansive scope of the MCU. Charlie Cox slips back into the role of Daredevil like a well-worn glove, bringing depth, vulnerability, and a fierce determination to his portrayal of the blind lawyer-turned-vigilante. The action sequences, oh how they've evolved. They're as intense and bone-crunching as ever, yet there's a fresh polish to them that amplifies the excitement. The choreography is meticulous, capturing the brutal elegance of Daredevil's combat style. Each fight feels vital, purposeful, and incredibly personal, continuing to set the bar high for what superhero action should look like on the small screen. Vincent D'Onofrio returns as Wilson Fisk, and his performance is a powerhouse. The dynamic between Fisk and Murdock is richer and more intense, deepened by their history and elevated by their shared screen time. The nuances D'Onofrio brings to Fisk paint a portrait of a villain who is both menacing and oddly sympathetic, a feat that adds layers to the overarching conflict. New characters introduced in Born Again are intriguing additions, blending well with the established cast while bringing new energy and perspectives to the story. Their interactions with Matt Murdock explore different facets of his character, pushing him toward new moral quandaries and challenges that test his resolve not just as a hero, but as a man and a lawyer. However, while the series excels in many aspects, it's the way it handles the narrative integration into the MCU that truly stands out. The seamless incorporation of broader universe elements with Daredevil's personal story is handled with finesse, avoiding the pitfalls of feeling shoehorned or out of place. This integration not only respects the legacy of the original series, but also opens up exciting new avenues for character development and storytelling. In conclusion, Daredevil Born Again is a triumphant return for one of the most beloved characters in the Marvel Universe. It respects its roots while boldly charting a new course, striking a perfect balance between honoring the past and embracing the future. For fans of the original series and newcomers alike, this show offers a compelling blend of action, drama, and heart. It's a beautifully crafted reminder of why Matt Murdock remains one of the most fascinating heroes in the Marvel pantheon. Dive back into the darkness of Hell's Kitchen. You won't be disappointed.
Daredevil, Born Again marks a significant moment for fans of the original Netflix series, as it reintroduces Charlie Cox's Daredevil into the ever-expanding Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU. As someone who deeply appreciated the depth and darkness of the original series, this new adaptation had big boots to fill. While it largely succeeds in recapturing the essence of what made Daredevil a standout character, there are aspects where the series could improve to truly honor its predecessor's legacy. First and foremost, Charlie Cox's return as Matt Murdock is as compelling as ever. He embodies the conflicted nature of Daredevil with the same intensity and vulnerability that won fans over in the first series. His performance is nuanced, bringing out the internal struggles of a man torn between his duties as a lawyer and his calling as a vigilante. This consistency is a relief and a joy to watch, as Cox continues to define the role with his dynamic portrayal. The action sequences in Born Again remain a highlight, showcasing Daredevil's acrobatic combat style with a visceral intensity that rivals any cinematic offering. The choreography is sharp, and each fight scene is executed with a grittiness that feels both raw and real, staying true to the street-level battles that are a hallmark of the character's story. However, the series does not come without its shortcomings, particularly in the pacing and integration into the broader MCU. While the attempt to connect Daredevil's narrative to the larger universe is understandable, it sometimes feels forced, as if the show is trying too hard to remind viewers that it is part of a bigger world. This often results in pacing issues, with some episodes feeling bogged down by unnecessary subplots meant to tie into future MCU projects. These moments can detract from the personal and localized story of Matt Murdock, which is where the series truly shines. Moreover, Vincent D'Onofrio's return as Wilson Fisk is powerful, yet the character's development in this series does not always feel consistent with his portrayal in the original. While still menacing and formidable, the depth of his cunning and the subtleties of his manipulation are sometimes overshadowed by a need to make him fit into a larger villainous role within the MCU. This shift can feel jarring for fans who appreciated the more nuanced depiction of his character previously. The introduction of new characters is a mixed bag. While some add interesting new dynamics and challenges for Matt, others do not seem to be fully fleshed out, serving more as plot devices rather than well-rounded characters. This inconsistency can make the narrative feel uneven, impacting the overall cohesiveness of the story. In conclusion, Daredevil, Born Again is a commendable effort that brings much of what fans loved about the original series while stepping into a larger arena. However, it could benefit from a more focused approach that prioritizes character development and narrative depth over the need to connect with the MCU. Despite its flaws, the series is a solid watch, especially for those eager to see more of Charlie Cox's masterful portrayal of Daredevil.
Daredevil, Born Again marks the anticipated return of Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock in a series that ambitiously attempts to blend the dark, gritty essence of the original Netflix series with the expansive Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU. While the series reintroduces familiar elements and characters, it struggles with significant issues that prevent it from reaching the compelling heights of its predecessor. Charlie Cox's performance as Matt Murdock/Daredevil remains a high point, as he effortlessly slips back into the role that defined his career. His ability to convey the nuanced struggle between Murdock's daytime role as a lawyer and his nighttime activities as Daredevil continues to be the backbone of the series. However, despite Cox's strong performance, the series does not provide him with new material that significantly deepens his character's journey. The script often recycles emotional conflicts from earlier seasons without adding substantial new layers or challenges, making his performance feel somewhat stagnant despite his best efforts. The action sequences, while technically well executed, lack the innovative choreography that once set the original series apart. The fight scenes, though numerous, do not carry the same visceral impact or narrative significance, often feeling like obligatory inclusions rather than integral parts of the story. This diminishes what has always been a central element of Daredevil's appeal, the raw, unfiltered hand-to-hand combat that mirrors his internal turmoil. The series' integration into the larger MCU is one of its most significant changes, and also one of its biggest missteps. The attempts to connect Matt Murdock's story to broader MCU plotlines are clunky and often disrupt the narrative flow. This integration feels forced, with cameo appearances and references that serve more as distractions than meaningful contributions to the storyline. As a result, the series loses the focused, intense storytelling that was characteristic of the Netflix version, instead seeming diluted by its obligations to the wider MCU narrative. Vincent D'Onofrio reprises his role as Wilson Fisk/Kingpin, bringing intensity and menace to every scene he occupies. However, his character's development in Born Again is inconsistent with his earlier portrayal. The series opts for a more caricatured version of Kingpin, focusing on overt displays of villainy rather than the complex, layered antagonist we previously saw. This simplification undermines the character's intrigue and reduces the credibility of his rivalry with Daredevil. Furthermore, the pacing of Born Again is uneven, with some episodes dragging on without significant plot advancements, while others rush through key developments. This inconsistent pacing makes the series feel longer than its narrative content justifies, leading to viewer fatigue and a diminished sense of stakes or urgency. In conclusion, Daredevil, Born Again is a series with commendable ambitions that ultimately fails to fulfill the potential of its iconic protagonist. While it delivers on action and nostalgia, it lacks the depth, coherence, and emotional intensity that could have made it a worthy successor to the original. Fans may find enjoyment in the return of beloved characters,
but they are likely to be disappointed by the series' overall execution and integration into the MCU.
Daredevil, Born Again? More like Daredevil, Bored Again. Seriously, what happened here? As a massive fan of the original Netflix series, I was pumped to see Charlie Cox back as Matt Murdock, expecting a series that lived up to the raw, gritty brilliance we got before. Instead, we got a watered-down, MCU-flavored version that's about as exciting as a day in traffic court. First off, let's talk about Charlie Cox. Yes, he's back, and yes, he's still got it. But the material he's working with? It's like taking a Ferrari and driving it in a school zone. The intensity and moral complexity that made his character fascinating are barely visible here. He's Daredevil in costume only, the scripts just don't bring anything new to the table. It's a crime to see such a talented actor given so little to sink his teeth into. And then there's the action, what a letdown. Remember the hallway fight from the original series? That was a dance of violence, beautifully choreographed and brutal. The action in Born Again feels like it's going through the motions. It's sanitized, safe, and utterly forgettable. Where's the impact? Where's the tension? Reduced to mere filler, the fight scenes lack the narrative depth and are clearly tailored to fit a more family-friendly MCU mold. Now, onto the integration into the MCU, which is about as smooth as sandpaper. The show tries so hard to remind us that it's part of a bigger universe that it forgets to tell a compelling story of its own. Every reference to the wider Marvel world feels forced, shoehorned in to set up future crossovers rather than serve the plot. Daredevil was once a show that stood confidently on its own 2 feet, now it leans on the MCU crutch so much it's practically horizontal. Vincent D'Onofrio's return as Kingpin was supposed to be a highlight, but even this feels off. His portrayal feels cartoonish this time around, stripped of the nuanced villainy that made him such a formidable opponent. It's like watching a great actor forced to perform in a bad panto. What a waste of talent. And don't get me started on the pacing, it's all over the place. Some episodes are so slow I could feel my beard growing, and others rush through key developments like they're trying to catch a bus. There's no rhythm, no build-up, just a series stumbling over its own convoluted plot, desperately trying to link every loose end to the MCU while neglecting its core, the heart and soul of Daredevil. In conclusion, Daredevil, Born Again is a disappointing shadow of what a Daredevil series could and should be. It trades depth for broad appeal, complexity for MCU compliance, and intensity for accessibility. Fans of the original series, brace yourselves, this isn't the Hell's Kitchen hero we loved, it's a pale imitation, dressed up in Marvel's family-friendly costume. Here's hoping Daredevil gets another shot at redemption because this series certainly isn't it.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. I tend to have at least 2 videos out per week, AI reviews like this or real reviews depending on releases. Until next time.